Hey everybody. I saw Spider-Man No Way Home in the theater last night, and I just wanted to give it a quick review today on Greyhawk Grognard. Okay, so I'm actually making two videos for this. This is the spoiler video. There will be spoilers in this video. If you have not seen the movie and you don't want it ruined, don't watch this video. This is your last chance. If you want, there's a spoiler-free video also on the channel. It dropped at the same time as this one, so make sure you're in the right video. Okay, that said, oh my god, what a great movie. This was definitely in my top two of Star Trek films. Star Trek? No, Spider-Man films. It was just such an emotionally satisfying movie. We have, obviously, all three of the Spider-Man actors in the same film. What I loved about this, I loved a bunch of stuff about this, so let me just get a couple. I'm just ranting as I think about it, but I liked the fact that Tom Holland's Spider-Man had not just a good character arc, but he had a moral arc too. When he, when May is killed by the Green Goblin, and he goes into this rage, and he wants to kill Norman Osborn, and then he stops at the last minute, and he decides to kill the Goblin without killing Osborn. That was great stuff. When he decides to make the self-sacrifice, and everybody in the world forgets who Peter Parker is, even MJ. It's just such a wonderful growth of his character, because at the beginning of the film, obviously, he wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants just his circle of friends to know who he is and nobody else, so he can go into MIT. But at the end, he's learned enough from these other Peter Parkers that it's all about self-sacrifice, and then he's willing to let go of the entire, basically of his entire life, in order to set things right, and he's doing all this to save these villains. He's saving Otto Octavius, he's saving Norman Osborn, and it's just, it's just such a wonderful growth of his character. And something else I loved about this is that it also represents growth of the other two Spider-Men. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, at the end of Spider-Man 3, he's in one place, and now we see him, he's much older, and at first I was put off by the fact that they didn't digitally de-age him, and they didn't digitally change his voice so it sounded more like it did 20 years ago, but on thinking about it, I like the fact that he's the most seasoned Spider-Man of the three, and so he's a little more weary, he's a little more worldly, and he's got more to offer in terms of advice and things like that. I liked that. He's kind of, in that respect, he's kind of like the Peter Parker in the Spider-Verse animated film, where he's able to dispense this wisdom to Miles Morales. And I liked the fact that they were able to do that. This film also managed to do what I thought was impossible. It made me like Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. I mean, I think Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, they're freaking unwatchable. They're terrible. But I gotta say, in this film, it worked. I liked him. He was finally somebody I could actually like being, like seeing on the screen. And I especially loved the interactions between the three of them. They gelled perfectly on the screen, and a lot of that, as well as a lot of the rest of the movie, of course, is propelled by the fact that our MCU Peter Parker has just such an easy charisma. He's just so likable, and you're so easily invested in him as a character that he's able to kind of pull the story along because you have because you as an audience member get so invested in him that he kind of pulls it along nicely, which I thought was a great touch. I liked the J. Jonah Jameson stuff. It's a subtle thing, but at the very, very beginning of the movie, you see he's in his basement against a green screen, and then once he starts really hammering the Spider-Man stuff, he, the dailybugle.net has obviously grown enough. He's got a studio, he's got news trucks, he's got a staff, so I liked the fact that they showed that kind of progression there. I gotta say, I was snookered by by some of the things in the trailers. The whole Doctor Strange disappears after the first third of the movie, and he just comes right at the end just to fix things, which, I thought he'd play a much bigger role in it, and I'm kind of happy that he didn't. I'm kind of, it kept it focused. This is a Spider-Man movie, and I liked that fact a lot. Obviously, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is just he is made for that role. I never really liked Green Goblin. In the movie, I didn't like him in the comics. I didn't like him in the cartoons, and I still, it's just okay. I know he's like Spider-Man's #1 villain, but I've always thought he was kind of weak. But they did the job. There's no getting around it. It was great. But I loved seeing the interactions between the villains too, especially when they're in Doctor Strange's dungeon, the Wizard's dungeon, and they're kind of just quipping at each other and telling each other their histories and things like that. I loved that interaction. It was just so easily done. It almost felt like Joss Whedon had written the script in places, because he's just so good with that banter between people, and they did that so well in the script. I loved all that. I mean, obviously the death of Aunt May was a complete gut punch. I thought they were going to do it again at the very end when Goblin stabs Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker in the back, but of course they didn't. And again, according to the trailers, when you see the sky breaking up behind Manhattan at the very end, I thought that was going to lead directly into the Doctor Strange movie, Multiverse of Madness, that's coming up in May. But no, I was snookered. They wrapped it up. They resolved it all in the same movie, which again is great. I was expecting this would be some sort of immense two-parter, but no, it was actually. They managed to wrap it up, which I loved. I loved that. So there's all kinds of little things scattered out throughout this movie. I think the weakest part of it was when the three of them were in the lab and just, we're going to fix everybody. And they kind of magically do it in a montage that takes about 5 minutes or less. That was a little bit hard to swallow. It does obviously really raise up them all as scientific geniuses. I think it might have done it a little too much because it was a little too easy. Our Peter Parker does have the machine from Tony Stark, that helped him a lot, but I thought it was a little unearned. But on the whole, man, what a freaking movie! I thought this was. It's an event level movie the size of Infinity War, and I thought it was actually better than Infinity War and better than what's it called? Endgame. I'm still on the fence as to whether I think it's better than Winter Soldier, but it's definitely in the top two. I have not gone back and watched a movie for more than once in a theater since Return of the Jedi in 1983. This movie I'm going to watch again. It's that good. So, hopefully everybody who's watching this has already seen it and knows what I'm talking about. But please let me know in the comments what you think. This is kind of segregated, so go wild with spoilers in the comments too. And let me know what you think. What do you think of my analysis? Did I miss anything? What was your favorite part? I'd love to hear from you. So if you liked this video, subscribe, like the video, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And, I'll be back soon with some more gaming content. And have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.